when you live an active life, you always living like you're about to go jail, or you're always living like something's about to happen. I remember a day where I had to say to myself, like, I have got no cases right now.
Yeah.
But I'm moving in terms of how my mentality is like I have. So it's like, if you're moving like you have got a case, you're more or less bringing in the next case.
Fortunately, my sister's boyfriend was selling cars. Okay, and then because I saw him have a Golf GTI, I asked him how he amassed that sort of money to get that, and he was selling cars. So that got me into cars. How much of an influence would you say your peers had on the journey you had as a teenager in comparison to maybe what I'm trying to get at is the influences we have. So I'm gonna say how much of what happened to you growing up as a teenager was you, and how much of it was your peers.
No, I wouldn't really say there was really a peer pressure, so to speak. I'd say we was all on the same sort of thing. I would say the good thing about...
So why did you form those friendships? How did those friendships form?
They formed naturally, but what I will say is most of 90% of them friendships that were formed all started off as fights.
Okay.
Yeah, in some way, shape or form.
Explain.
Just like, literally, like they started off confrontational, physical.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? And then over time, it's like there's a respect level earned, and then we just realize that we're on the same frequency, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you say that. So you're saying that the friendships that you. So is it fair to say that, generally speaking, most of these young boys who get into friendships don't join these friendships to cause badness, but it's just a case of, let's say you get into a fight with somebody, and I'm your friend.
Yeah.
I guess now that person's my enemy now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And therefore, unfortunately, now if there's 5 of us, we will now become enemies with this 5.
Yeah.
And that's how these things form.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I remember you being in a gang. I know you had friends, but would you go as far as saying that you was in a gang?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I don't recollect that. And would you just say it was a case of where you've just got friends who are all going to back each other if something goes right or goes wrong?
Agreed.
Basically.
Yeah.
And but would you say that there wasn't an intention as a group of friends, or would you say there was an intention as a group of friends to be bad? And when I say bad, I mean bad as in causing trouble. Because that's what I define as bad. Not making money illegally. I know it's going to sound mad me saying that, but for me, I'm talking about guys who are just bad.
Well,
like going out to rob people, for instance, when younger. Maybe, so for instance, I rolled around with a knife when I was younger. And I rolled around with a knife when I was younger because I was scared. I'll be real. I didn't roll around with one because I was a bad man. Something happened. I said it's not going to happen again. So I decided to have a knife with me.
Yeah. I get you.
Somebody would say on camera that it's wrong to walk around with a knife. And this is where I struggle, because I know what I meant to say on camera. I know what I meant to say. If someone attacks you with a knife, don't go and take a knife from your mum's drawer and roll with one. That's what I meant to say. I know I meant to say that.
Then you know there's the bot.
I know that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
I meant to say, don't carry a knife. That's what I meant to say. And I know that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, the thing is, we understand. Well, put it this way, in reference to what you're just saying, what I will say is that, at one stage in my life, I lived a very active life, so very, very full on, basically, like 2 feet in, basically, at one stage in my life. But what I will say is, it's important that we continue to basically drop gems to these children, drop nuggets, because they're going through a process. You can tell these young, if a young youth's listening to what I'm saying to you, and he asks me, he says, man, I need to put down my knack. I'm gonna try to, the level of care, there's care there, but I would advise him in the best way I can, but to take the knife off him, or you have to, once you've got their ear, you have to kind of know how to just, because somewhere in there, the nuggets are it's like when you plant the seed, you're not really seeing what's going on. Some seeds don't sprout, but if you keep planting seeds, it's gonna be there. And that's what I feel like. I had people that was kind of like sitting me down and breaking down certain things to me. Like I had a circle where I could reason with.
Yeah.
I had an older circle that would break down certain gems that kind of gave me a guide, even though I was moving reckless to a certain degree, or moving reckless. But and then I had my godmother, for example, who is gave me a female aspect of. So I just feel like no matter, I feel it's important that we don't write off the youths, and it's important that we understand that just like us, they're going through a process, bro.
And I guess that process is something which, would you say that everyone has to kind of go through?
Yeah.
So sometimes they say if you don't hear, you must feel, and it's almost a case of where these kids are just doing the feeling right now.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, it's a process. It's a process. Another thing as well, like you always hear the question when you're young, like what do you want to be when you're older? That's a bit of a mad question to ask a child. I would more try to tap into what they enjoy, what do you enjoy, what do you love, and try to work around that. I think you'll get more results. Sometimes it's not as plain and simple. It's clear cut as that.
Then
Sometimes
again,
you may need.
What did you want to be when you was at the age of 16? What did you want to be? I know it's a question that we're saying we shouldn't ask, but what did you want to be when you were 16? What was who was your role models? Who did you look up to when you were 16?
Basketball.
You wanted to be a basketball player?
Yeah.
Okay, and at what point did you realise that wasn't going to happen, and how did that affect you?
I kind of realised from around then, because most of my friends had been playing from young. I'd been playing from young, from 8. But when I moved here, my aunt made me stop playing sports through the whole of secondary school. But my friends were going training all throughout. So even though I was more athletic than a lot of them, I knew where my flaws were, you know what I mean? And there's only so far at this height athleticism is going to take you. So my original plan was to move to America back then, and then try and switch to American football, because I was quick at the same time. But due to moving here late and not having indefinite leave until I was 18, I knew if I left England,
You ain't coming back in.
ain't coming back in. And I'd seen it happen to my friend. So my boy got a basketball scholarship. Daps his older cousin. He got a scholarship, moved to America, did good, but because he didn't get into the NBA, indefinite leave to remain's gone, he had to go back to Africa. So every time season's done, when he plays pro abroad, he has to go back, you know what I mean? So after a while, you kind of see that your life is not going to be like everyone else's. So you just have to just kind of go with the flow.
What did you want to be when you were 16? What was your before 16? What was your dream?
Probably just to be rich, just to have money. I never wanted to be any one specific thing. I always knew I just want to have money, and that's just what I've been attracted to my whole life. Like, yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Where if it's just money driven and there's not like a goal or a passion
Depends.
behind it?
I think it depends on the application. Obviously, being a young boy in England, everyone wants to be a footballer. And like obviously I played football like to a decent level, but when I kind of realised at about 15, 16, maybe this isn't going to happen the way I thought, it was just money. And
how that made you feel when you realised that your dream of being a footballer wasn't going to happen? That's one conversation that is never had in regards to sports. When you realise that this isn't like, I used to play football, and I realised I wasn't good when I got to a certain level. I think when I played amongst my peers, I felt I was good. But then when you jump that next bracket, you're like, oh, rah, I'm not actually that good. And I stopped watching football for a long time because I didn't enjoy watching football, because in my head I was meant to be on that screen. You know, and I'm asking you, so how did it make you feel when you realised that football wasn't going to be it?
A similar experience. So like obviously I dropped down to like proper like non-league, like low level, like step 8, step 9, and I was playing there, and I kind of thought like, this ain't it. Like you go there and the pitch has got like holes in it and stuff like that. I thought this ain't it. So I just stopped playing. So similar to you, I couldn't watch football, I couldn't do it, because to me I was meant to be there. But then as
you said the spot on the thing, I couldn't watch basketball for years, bro.
No.
Yeah, I mentally switched out of it.
It affected me bad.
Yeah.
I used to watch. Do you remember Serie A?
Yeah.
The Gazzetta. Go. So you would.
That was on Channel 4.
remember.
Do you remember Gazzetta?
Yeah.
Serie A football. Yeah. They used to show it every Channel 4, and I think it was at 10 o'clock in the morning or something.
On what, Sunday?
I think it was something. What day it was? But I stopped watching football completely.
Yeah.
Completely stopped it. So what would you say your dreams were at the age of 15, 16? And what did you have like an ambition, or did you kind of want to be something?
I didn't have a set ambition because of how school went, and then from school It's kind of like straight into the system. I didn't have a set ambition, but I knew I wanted to be something. You know what I mean? But there wasn't like a clear. I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to attain, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to be. You know what I mean? But I feel if I concentrated on boxing, because I enjoyed that from young, and I was more channeled on that. Yeah, I think a lot of I haven't really got no regrets, but I think my path would have been different.
Yeah, I know you mentioned in the book, just like you mentioned about going through the system. I know in the book you mentioned about going to a centre, and basically that for those that know, it's like a pupil referral unit from school.
Yeah.
Now in the book you mentioned something about your teacher. You alluded to the fact that you believe your teacher was probably prejudiced towards you, maybe racist towards you.
Directly racist.
Yeah, I think you said that something about they were going to search black boys' school bags, something like that. Now, how much of an impact would you say your schooling and going into a centre had in your direction of where you went from the age of 14, 15, 16? Would you say that schooling didn't crush you or break you?
Nah, I would say the social elements of school I lacked, but I would say definitely they kind of ripped me off to a degree because you ripped me up. I think they ripped me off to a degree, you know what I mean? And it was like kind of like in some ways got me ready for the system, and it kind of like that's how it worked out, because in this, the story you just mentioned, a teacher asked me, this is when I was in year 7, to stay behind. She asked to search my bag. I was young, told my mum, and then when she went back to the school, she said the head teacher told them to search all the black children's bags. So it was direct racism.
All the black children's bags?
Direct racism. Racism. And then from there I moved school, and then there was another incident that happened in school where they already had me written off for something that happened outside of the school. They did something where if somebody does a crime, there's a protocol, so you might have to go for ID parade, for example.
Yeah.
A teacher one time this is the second school now that I moved to, I've asked me to go and take something from this class to another classroom, but I had a boy in the class ID parade like pointing me out.
Okay.
Yeah, so
so she basically set you up to go into the classroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and from there, an incident that took place on the way to school left me excluded centre system. So that's kind of like, really, that's the story for a lot of these youth sites. So it's like, yeah.
And I guess I'm assuming, so from school, did you end up going to college, or what was your education process from school?
From school, yeah, like I said, into the system. So I was in the prison system after that, and then
You mean law school?
yeah,
Law school.
law school.
Yeah, law
And then from there, there was a period where you know when you jump on the course and they're paying you to get on the course. So like by time, like maybe like a 3-4 months. So yeah, in terms of, I think there may have been that element, but yeah, there was no.
Would you say law school was needed?
Yeah, it was to a degree where I was at, because it gave me time to sit down and be in my silence and focus on, discipline myself, basically. Yeah, so it was needed for me at the time. Yeah.
And what would you say? So obviously, sometimes people will go to law school more than once.
Yeah.
Okay. And one would argue and say, how come that person hasn't learned from the first time?
Yeah.
How do you answer that question when someone is posing that question, saying, "Oh, how come someone has gone to law school 2, 3, 4 times?" Is it as simple as saying this person isn't learning? And does that mean that law school isn't working?
No, well, I wouldn't say it's as simple as that. I'd say that I think, in my opinion, once you go jail once, it can be easier to go jail a second time in terms of how it looks when you're standing in front of the judge. But also, I would say that it's a mental thing, because we often, when you live an active life, you always living like you're about to go jail, or you're always living like something's about to happen. So I remember a day where I had to say to myself, like, because I have got no cases right now.
Yeah.
But I'm moving in terms of how my mentality is, like I have. So it's like, if you're moving like you have got a case, you're more or less bringing in the next case. So it's a mentality. It's about changing your thinking.
And would you say that I think it's an interesting thing because I think at some point, where would you say the turning point was for you, where you decided that this is long, where it was like, and is it fair to say that only you or that person can get to that turning point, that no one can help you get there?
Yeah.
And what would you say that turning point was, where you decided that, you know what, this is long? And why does it take so long for that turning point to kick in?
I think the Most High has got everything planned for. He sees the bigger picture. So for me, I would say there was different points in my life where I was gaining different and deeper levels of awareness. And really and truly, I more advocate peace and unity deep within. At the same time, I'm still going to always protect mine and protect my family. So I think it was just going to America, boxing America was a big change for me because I had time to be out of the country, focusing solely on my dream. So that was a massive transition for me.
So would you say that change of environment,
Yeah.
and would you say that if you had done that earlier, things may have changed quicker for you?
Yeah, I think if I focused on boxing earlier, my path would have been different. But I felt like everything as to where I am now is worked out in divine timing. Even in terms of losing my dad, this therapy journey that I'm on as a psychotherapist, these are all things that I never thought. Yeah, I've always been somebody that people come and reason with, and I try to give as much wisdom as I can. But I never thought that my journey would take this course. So really, what I'm encouraging people, children, people in general, is that you never know when different gifts will be revealed. Your different gifts that you have will be revealed, and you never know when that time's going to come.
Yeah.
But if you continue to do the work with yourself, it's more about the awareness. I think it's about awareness of self, awareness of questioning why you're thinking that way, why you're moving that way, and it's rare for people in our community to go and seek therapy.
Why do you think that? Why do you think it's so taboo?
Because there's not many people that we feel like, first off, access.
Okay.
Like, we can't just go. It's not like, yeah, I'm going down there, that's why I get therapy. It's not like that. Secondly, I feel like trying to find the right therapist to relate to, because in therapy,
what is therapy? Sorry.
okay, well, therapy, talking therapy is giving somebody the space to express their self, and then you have different theories that you study in therapy, and with them theories, it's like it's all there's a certain framework that you work with, but then there's different techniques for different frameworks of therapy.
Okay.
So it's just about basically being able to listen, showing UPR, unconditional positive regard, listen without being judgmental, and giving that person the space to almost like you're holding a mirror for them
Okay.
to see what's going on for them.
Yeah.
So you're not really different perspective, but you're like, sometimes people need to get it out before they know how to fit. Like when you're tidying your room, for example, it's like sometimes it's a mess. You have to bring everything out and then you put it back in place. So it's that sort of,
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know how much therapy I think a lot of us guys who have come from certain backgrounds need, but I think there is a trauma which a lot of us still hold that I don't think we've even dealt with yet or even addressed.
Agreed.
And I think how do we get to that conversation where you can even say to one of your boys, I think you need to go to therapy. How would you even have that conversation with one of your boys and say, look, bro, I think you need to go and sit down and go and see a counsellor? And do you think they would go?
I think a lot of people, when they really check it, they would go, but it's the steps to get them there. So that when they think about it, they think, yeah, you know what, yeah, I could use it, but it's the steps, it's the accessibility. So that's why I know that black therapists are rare. It's a rarity. It's not no secret.
Yeah.
For me, it's almost, this journey of being a psychotherapist is almost like, I'm not perfect, innit? I'm still a work in process. but there's it's just giving. It's like, as I said, it's like the boxing. It's almost like another gift that I've discovered is comes naturally to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's needed. It's needed.
Yeah. I think that's one thing I've always struggled with, is trying to get someone to go and seek counselling or seek help. It's almost seemed like not like a pussy old thing, but it's like, I'm not going to sit down with someone and tell them my problems.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think you need to be able to have that outlet where you don't feel you're being judged. I think even, I don't know what, obviously I know you and Ed are really are really close. So I hope that you two have a relationship where you can open up to each other. And I think
100%.
it's very important that as men we have, even if you're not going to seek therapy, that you got a boy or someone that you can chat to, that you can open up properly, and they know you in your deep. Because I think even as men, we know what we're like behind closed doors. We can all walk around and do the whole bravado and all the macho thing. But I think we know in our bedroom or in our little dark room sometimes we have and I think the most dangerous place is to be alone with your thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anywhere more dangerous than when you're with your
Yeah,
with your thoughts.
at times we need to sit with them. Sometimes we do need to sit with our own thoughts. And back to what I was saying again, it's about the relationship. It's all about the relationship with your therapist that's going to make the therapy work. Forget all the other jazzy stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm grateful that I've got a circle that I can reason with openly and not feel like I have to hide my emotions. You know what I mean? We've been through a lot, we've come through a lot. So to be at this stage in our lives is I'm grateful.
In your book, you've got something that's called Concrete Gems. And there's something in number 20, you say there's a thin line between selfishness and putting yourself first. Don't let them trick you. What would you say is that thin line between selfishness and putting yourself first? Where does one find the balance? Because I always think you should put yourself first, but often you could say that's being selfish. Where do you think that thin line comes?
Well, sometimes, bro, like when you're so used to helping others and giving, sometimes you fall into a pattern of really checking for yourself, innit? And then others will get used to that. You're just giving.
Yeah.
So, and then you could like fall into a trap where you're just, it's like the dynamics of the relationship is constantly giving. So sometimes in order to take it to the next level of your life, you have to basically think about it. With all your strengths, all your gifts, if you're constantly giving and you're able to like balance and help so many others, imagine what's going to happen when you put all of that back. You give all everything you're giving that back to yourself. You're going to rise, and then you're going to be able to help more people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what that's really saying.
Don't you feel like when you get to that stage, mentally, where you decide to put to yourself, all the people that you're always giving to, all of a sudden they start to move funny because now
100%.
you've cut that
100%.
line of you're the guy that they go to.
100%.
You know what I mean? Because now you're all putting it all into you. They start to feel weird. They figure, oh, you haven't got no time for them.
Would you say you fall victim to that sometimes?
Fully. Someone put a comment early this morning on the channel.
I think you fall victim to that. Definitely.
Someone put a comment earlier in this on the channel this morning, and I replied back to it, and it was like 6 hours, like literally, I saw it by accident because I was looking at YouTube studio, and the person was like upset with me. He was saying, why does it feel like this channel is all about Chisel trying to make it and did blah blah blah? And I was thinking to myself, I don't talk the most on this channel. A lot of times I try to just be in the background, and then in regards to my reply to that, I was like, a lot of times I feel bad because before I brought Wes on in the way we are now, I was like giving him more, but I'm trying to hit a target to get him to, you know what I mean, to have more time for himself and to be able to do more with him, but I can't do as much as I want with him when sometimes Wes might be like, can we do this? I'll be like, bro, unfortunately I'm working, I got this to do right now, I can't, you know what I mean? So the person was like, it feels like now you're just about kind of like you, and I was like,
Who else should it be about?
bro, because like literally
In general, who else should be number
from
one?
young till now, it's felt like all I do is help people. You get what I'm saying? And even like sometimes we might go to places like, and there'll be like, this person I help put on with this person, I help link this person with that. Even last night I was at Burners and someone asked me about Drip London because I was wearing tracksuit, and he's got a store in Nigeria. I said, alright, today I'll make the connection and link. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know him from nowhere, but I've seen his business, checked it out. I know this guy is trying to expand because we've had a conversation recently, and the timing was perfect. So I'm like, let me make the link. But when I'm trying to do it for myself and pulled away from a lot of people, it's like recently we had a talk where I was saying, because I've kind of just been focused on work. Like even like today, being late was because it's work related.
Yeah.
So because my mind is in that zone, when I do parties and that, people who used to come all the time don't come no more. Because before, every weekend, I might, if I had a party, I'll go to this person's birthday, this person's kid's birthday, this person's mom's anniversary, this person's mom's funeral, this person's mom's 60th. But now, because I've been so in my zone, I don't do all of this. So all these people feel like I've turned on them.
Yeah.
So they don't come no more. But I'm like, no, I'm not making as easy as before. So to still keep the same level, I have to work harder. And it's not personal, but they don't understand that. That's why I said, when you start to put more into yourself,
100%.
people start to take it personal, like you're against them. But it's like, no, I want to make more to be able to help him, other people that I've got, like, who are counting on me, and to be able to help more. Because me always have talks all the time. He's like, why do you want to be rich? I said, right, to give away most of it. And he don't get that. Like, he's like, right, what's the purpose behind that? I said, because my mum was that character, and I feel to carry on what she is, I need to level up to a level that I could, let's say, like where I grew up, or the village she's from, I could build so much houses, let's say like Mr. Beast, and name the road after her, name this after her, name that venue 254 is after her. Like, it's not about me, it's about the things she wanted to do. I feel like she didn't have the chance to do that because she put all her time into me. So now I owe her by putting all my time into everyone else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and in relation to what you just said as well, when you do step back from these people, you're giving them same people opportunity to find their self, whether they know it or not. They have to kind of stand up. They're always used to having that support system. Now they've got to learn to stand up on their feet. So this is the cycle. This is how it goes. You know? Yeah.
Just another gem you had in your book, which I found really interesting. It was the one where, let me find it now. Don't underestimate the power of having the right team of women around you. They can empower you in ways you can't imagine. What brought that awareness or that enlightenment?
Yeah, that awareness really came from being at a place where I wouldn't say I was at my lowest, but I would say like where a storm formed, and it's like really the women that I had around me really came that support system. You know what I mean? They was able to support me in ways that some of my circle I had around me couldn't support me. Yeah, so
I think one big problem we've had as men is that we've always, most of us have seen women as just sexual objects, unfortunately, not knowing how much power they actually have and how
100%.
Cool women actually are. I know it sounds
100%.
really silly,
100%.
but it's. I know we often say men and women can't be friends, but during the pandemic, for me, it was women who made me the most money during that time with the connections that they had. Separately to me doing my van driving job during the pandemic, it was women who sort of connected a lot of the dots. And I think sometimes we've broken our relationships with women due to just us seeing them as what we see them as, and I know it's, and I don't know where that mentality has come from.
They're your biggest supporters.
Yeah, women are. Like, in anything I've done, women have supported the most.
And they can show you and give you a different perspective on what's going on around you. So you're going to say, they're powerful.
Yeah,
Powerful.
definitely women I've seen have been my biggest supporters. Don't get me wrong, I've got a good bunch of friends around me, but when women root for you, they do. They go beyond, and they go beyond as far as I'm concerned. Now, this book can be bought. Where can people find this book?
You can find this book on Amazon. Find this book on Amazon. Yeah, man, it's there for the public to read. It's personal, and like I said, it's not too intimidating for the youth. It's a small book with a lot of power. So yeah, man, jump on it, man.
Yeah, and I would say that it's definitely something I think mum should definitely read. for their sons so they can get an insight. I would even say partners should read it so they can understand where their boyfriend or someone be coming from. I'd even say that even guys, whether you're the age of 18, 40, it's something that you can just reflect on. Once again, don't forget to purchase this book. You can get it from Amazon. It's called If Only You Knew, and I think it's a very, very good book about a journey that someone has taken from growing up to where they are now. You can see the transition. It talks about elements of the pitfalls that you can go through as a young boy. It's very important, I say, for mums to definitely pick up this book so you can kind of get an insight of how maybe your son might be thinking, maybe even your partner. And one thing I did like about this book, it didn't glorify the journey. A lot of times when people talk about their path they've taken, there's a bit of where they're kind of gloating in it, and I didn't get any of that from this book. And that's why I definitely say, for those who are watching this, definitely go and grab the book. It's called If Only You Knew, and you can get it from Amazon, written by Ryan Lee.
Yeah, thank you for the reasoning as well, my brother.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, man.
It's
More
appreciated,
love,
man.
yeah, man.
It's
More love,
appreciated.
bro.
Thank you.
Hope you like the episode. More good episodes coming, more good guests on the way. And yeah, please keep liking, sharing, subscribing. We love the support. I just came back from Portugal, and yeah, like, I think me and Gabriel like was just shocked at the amount of people from Europe and over here in Ireland that watch the episodes. Like, I was literally fully blown. Over, I think in 2 days I bumped into like a couple hundred people that stopped me.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Mad.
it was mad. It was insane, like literally everywhere. Like, and yeah, like just positive words. I was in shock because, you know, you're just like in your zone and people come in and just, yeah, it made the trip better than what it was talking to
Okay,
people. Yeah, because some of the acts in between were not you know what I mean, but the people coming up made, yeah, it made it way better. I got pictures with random people. So yeah, if you saw me, hit me up, tag me, message me. Let's stay in touch. Peace.